to Bibliophiles Audiophiles. On tonight's episode, we are doing Calls to Adventure Tales of Silvertide, Volume 1 by Matthew Thompson. He is one of the authors that we interviewed down in Dothan, Alabama at the Fiction Addiction event. His description is as follows. Every character has an origin story, from finding unlikely friendship between a boy named Wowie and a dragon, to the story of the overlord of the Western March's chance to change the course of the war. These short stories will pull you in and keep you engaged as they tell you how an adventure can begin before you even realize you're in it. Stories of a soldier named Merrick who went from a life of farming to the life of a hero, to a young kid named Clinton who runs into trouble and finds allies and heroes in unexpected places. These characters will win your heart and keep you turning the page. There are many more characters and so many more adventures waiting in the world of Silvertide. There are no trigger warnings listed that I could find. You added some, okay.
I added some. Did I add them to the thing? Because I thought I did.
Yes, you did. One that I found was death of a parent because it does talk like a couple of stories have like dead parents. Should we add that on there? The rest of them you got injury detail. Okay, I'll add that when I submit mine, but I'll just go ahead and say it for this.
Okay.
Okay. Content warnings: death, gun violence, violence, blood, cannibalism, injury detail, cursing, misogyny, vomit, and death of a parent.
Now, when I added those content warnings, I kind of not guessed, but kind of just guesstimated where I thought they should land on the graphic, moderate, mild stages, because I couldn't really remember, because it's been like 5 books since I read this book. So
it's been a minute, yeah.
I realized I didn't put my trigger warnings in when I did my rating. I noticed I had them in my notes. So it was just a guess.
Yes. Yeah, the only one that I had to add was Death of a Parent. You can and cannot find this book on Kindle Unlimited, apparently. It's not showing up on Kindle Unlimited for me, no matter what device or, Kindle app, Amazon Web, web on the computer. It's not showing up KU for me, but it is for Alyssa. So it might be on Kindle Unlimited. For me, it's not for some reason. If you don't have Kindle Unlimited, it is $5.99. It is not available on Spotify.
So this is where I would typically go into reviews, but I don't think it's really a fair assessment of reviews because the only review that's on Storygraph is mine, and I'm not going to say mine right now. And then Goodreads and Amazon both have only like 1 or 2 ratings on there, and they are 5-star ratings. So that's all I've got for that. But I would like to say, which would be my first note, but it's not going to be a note, it's just a general about the book itself. That I feel like if people aren't interested in reading this, that would be good to know going into the book. It's a whole compilation of a bunch of short stories, and they are different characters and different storylines and stuff like that. I'm assuming they're part of the same world, but they're all different. So instead of like a chapter book, it's a whole bunch of short stories. So knowing that going into it is going to help you better read and understand it.
Okay.
Anyways, that's it. That's all I got.
Okay, my notes are on my phone. Let me.
Well, first, James.
Oh, hello.
James.
There's some spoilers coming up, sweetie. You better cover your ears.
Yeah, because like the first half of this book, I was like working. I was at work, and so the first like 4 stories that I liked, that I'm probably planning on jumping around a little bit. Just I wrote down some stories that I liked and a few notes about each of them, but I didn't really want to go into too much detail about every single story, or this would have to be like a multiple part episode because there's a lot of stories in this volume. Yeah, volume is what it's called. I've never read short stories before.
I actually read Peter Last's book. Oh my gosh, what was it called?
It was also something adventurous. I know that.
It was his most recent release. It wasn't the Birthright Chronicles, but it was
None of these look familiar. Oh, Shadow for Hire.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Wages
So
of Death. Okay, that's the first one. So
Wages,
Shadow for
that's
Hire number
it.
one.
That's it.
Wages of
So
Death.
I read that, which I was gonna say I compare and contrast it between his book and this book. Because Peter Last, his is all a bunch of like short stories.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference between his short stories and Matthew Thompson's short stories is that Peter Last has a bunch of stories revolving around the same characters. So it goes in like a chronological order where it's like this happens, but then like the next story isn't like something that immediately happens next. It's maybe something that happens like months later or years later and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this is like just a bunch of stories about different people.
Yeah.
Some I liked more than others. I'll say that.
Yes. I feel like that would be with any like volume type deal like this.
Yeah.
Again, if I sound bad, I think I'm getting a cold. Not sure, but my throat hurts. Sorry. But no, there's some that I'm like, I was halfway through them, and I'm like, I could not tell you the first thing about the story, and then there was others where I was like gripped, and
Yeah.
I just couldn't not listen. So I feel like that's kind of like some of these are always going to be hit or miss because for one, you're consuming so many at once, consecutively. It's just like this is this guy, this is what happens at the end, this is this girl, this is what happens at the end. And so sometimes I'm not over the last one before the next one began. So I did have to
Right.
take a break after a couple of like the really good ones.
And then I think as like a so like usually when you read like a typical chapter book, you could stop at the end of a chapter and like be okay with that.
Yes.
Whereas
Yeah.
just like with this is the thing I don't like about short stories, like volumes like this, is that like I don't want to stop in the middle of the story. So
Mm-hmm.
I have to like read the whole story within like that sitting or else I'm gonna feel just weird stopping in the
Yeah.
middle of it, and there's no breaks. Like it's your whole chapter is like the whole short story.
Yes.
So sometimes it can go on for like several pages. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not just saying specifically to Matthew Thompson, but Peter Last was also like that too. And it's just
Yeah.
like, well, this is like a lot of sitting that I have to do in this current moment. And there's
Mm-hmm.
really like no way for me to break off from this.
Yes.
So um that's another thing that kind of turns me off from like short stories. But um there is like two or three of them that I really liked. And that reminds me, when we asked him like why he did this book the way he did, he said he had a lot of stories, but he didn't know which one to write. So that's why he came up with the short stories,
Yes.
compiled them in a book, and then
Mm-hmm.
wanted to kind of like reader feedback to see which ones he liked, like people
Mm-hmm.
liked more and would wanted to hear more about.
Mm-hmm.
So Matthew Thompson, if you're listening,
If you're
if you're
listening,
listening,
you're about to get
we
some like top tier judgment. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
yeah. Well, no, like we can give you like which ones we
We're
liked the
reviewing. That's
most,
what we do. Is we're reviewing. So we're gonna read them and we're gonna be like, "Hey, I really like this one."
Do
Um,
more.
I don't think I made notes about the ones that I did. There's not really any that I didn't like, but there's some where I was like, "That was a story," and then there's some where I'm like, "Dang, that was a story." Like it's completely different. So I think I want to say the ones that I'm talking about are the ones that I was sat for. Like I'm going to focus on books like these.
For me, mine are well that, but also just stuff that like I was thinking about and kind of like stuck with me
Hmm.
after the story was over,
Yes.
even like
Yes.
short story, like several short stories later after the book was over. Just some notes that I thought were like kind of funny. But I do have like I think a top three of like if there was like a bigger story of these, I would read it.
Hmm. Now that we're gonna shut up talking about that, we're gonna actually talk about the
Yeah,
stories.
right.
Okay. So I had asked you like what format are we doing for this like episode? Because there's
Yeah,
there's
it's
no
kind of
way
tricky.
we could have made notes. And then you actually mentioned a few of the ones like these are the ones that I'm going to start talking about because I like them a lot. And I think they were all the same as mine, actually, starting with Alphen on the wall. I'm gonna
Yep.
say Alphen. If that's wrong, I'm sorry. But yeah. And if there is a story that, I bring up or you bring up that the other
Mhm.
one is like, I don't remember that, that's fine. I guess we can just read our notes.
Yeah. I kind of just bounce off, see if anything triggers it or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it has been a minute since I finished this one. Okay.
Yeah,
Do you want to go ahead?
Alphen is my first one.
Mm-hmm.
So basically,
Oh.
the premise of that short story is he saved the daughter of a duke. He starts to court her. The duke finds out. The duke's just like, get out of here, sends him to some infantry to go fight some orcs, and then
Mm-hmm.
eventually gains respect from like his fellow comrades and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I honestly remember. That's all I wrote down in terms of his story,
Yeah.
but I really did enjoy that story a lot.
My first note about that one was he was trying to save money to buy a ring for this girl, and then he finds out this girl's the princess, and then her
Mhm.
dad, which I don't know if it was the king. I think she was the
No, it was a
princess.
duke.
It was a duke. Okay, so whatever Duke's daughter is, that, and the duke was like, no, and then I'm pretty sure the duke had a hand in like stationing him wherever.
Oh,
Uh,
100%.
I thought that
Like,
kind of
no,
sucked like
100%.
really bad because this guy is just trying to get a lady, you know. Okay, so they're stationed somewhere. He's stripped of ranking and is told he has to fight orcs, possible
Hmm.
ogres, and dragons, which Alfin thought all of these were fairy tales because, like, he's from a farmland, right? Pretty sure this one was
Yeah.
one from farm. Yeah, he was. And then he's just like, like, what do we,
I don't
uh,
remember if it was this story or if it was one of the other short stories,
that was the farmer one. There's definitely one that's about because I
but there
remember,
was one where this guy's just like, yeah, like we went to go fight some orcs, and then the other person's just like, haha, orcs, those don't exist. And then they go into fight, and then they come back and they're like, dude, I'm so sorry, you were
I'm so
right.
sorry. Yeah. It was either this one or
It might have
uh
been one of the other ones. I think it was one of the
Merrick's.
other ones. I
It may
just
have been
couldn't remember
Merrick.
which one.
Yeah. Yeah, that one I really did like that one. Sometimes I like war stories. My cat is on my string. I have to move it, sorry. Sometimes I like war stories, but other times I'm like, oh my gosh, this is dragging on forever. Because I also want it to include other things as well. But this one I feel like was pretty good. It was short, and I like that because
Mhm.
it kept my attention, and it wasn't like dragging on. And so I really did like this one. One note that I did like was apparently it was common to strip ranks, so only the best of the best can move back up and be in command, if I'm understanding right. Because I think it
Yeah,
was like they
I was
kept.
getting confused too about that because
I
I like because I understood that like people were like getting put into command and then they were getting stripped of their titles and then other people were getting put in there and I just didn't understand the whole process.
Part of me is like maybe it's because only the best of the best, like if they're good, they can rank up again, type deal. And like to me, that's kind of
Mhm.
what it was like. Was oh, you have to continuously earn that position. I think don't quote me on any of that, but I thought that was a pretty cool lore. I'm trying to think of the word. I'm so tired. I thought that was a pretty cool like backbone of the story. I would say
Mhm.
if that's what it was, that's what it kind of seemed like it was.
I thought it could have been like they shoved you up there until you did good and then once you did good they like kicked you out and pushed up someone who was bad. Maybe. I don't know
Maybe.
cuz like from what I understood cuz he got up into that rank, right? The
Yes.
higher rank. So like he did a good job when he was up in that higher rank,
Hmm.
right?
I
But
think
then
so.
then they like stripped him from
Again.
that title.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like I don't know,
What's going on, girl queen? You know?
the whole wording of it kind of confused me, but I did enjoy the story of it and if I think if he dove into it more and like I know you hate the term flesh out, but fleshed out the
But
story a little bit more, um I feel like it could be it has good potential to be a really good story.
I do think Alphen on the wall would be like good potential. So definitely, Mr. Thompson. I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure he said that he wrote these stories just to kind of see what would resonate with the crowd before he wrote a
Yes.
novel. Yeah. Okay. Yes. My vote on Alphen. Yes.
Hmm.
But but like more explanation on the stripping of the title, not the
Yes.
clothes coming off. I'm gonna be
Yes.
completely clear about it. Okay, what's the next story that you made notes on?
Omega 1.
Oh, that's my next one too. Yeah,
Oh, cool. Okay. So Omega 1, I only have like for each story, I only have like one note.
I have
So,
like at least three. Like I had my minimum at three because I wanted to like not be like, oh, I wrote one note because I would didn't want it to be so short.
Well, I only ended up doing like one for each because I didn't really have a lot to say, but also there was just so many stories I didn't know how many.
We were going to do ultimately in the
Yeah,
end.
right.
Yeah,
So Omega 1 is actually my favorite out of all of them.
I think so too.
Because the girl, she seems like a baddie.
Love that. We love that.
She seems like really like, you know, it's giving Mulan.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
And it also reminds me of this game that my husband plays called Invincible. Actually, my husband finished the game. There's this game called Invincible, and he like the character is like transported to some like planet world or whatever, and they're injured and they have to do some sort of like
Survival.
survivalist kind of like
Yeah,
stuff.
that's cool.
So it kind of like I don't even know what the game is about, but that's kind of the gist of what I understand of it. But anyways, it reminded me of this story, Omega 1. It reminded me of that game,
Hmm.
and so I thought it was really, I don't know. I would have loved to like read a whole book about that. I like
I
reading
would
about
have
girls
too.
who are strong.
Yes, I do too. Honestly, like if it's like this is a book about a man, I'm like, oh. If it's a book about a woman, I'm like, oh, you know.
Because
But
I'm
that
gonna like compare
also
it to
that also
like,
leads me to my other problem. I don't like normally. I hope no authors or authors who people who plan to be authors one day don't like offense. I don't like men writing. I'm not being sexist. I'm just saying that they usually are bland and have no feeling whatsoever, especially if they're writing from a woman's perspective. But I did not have that problem with Matthew Thompson. I feel like he was very chill writing about it. See, most men are like, I'm a woman and I'm over dramatic and look at my
yeah.
hot body. And I'm like, no, no, no. But I like this one. I don't know if this girl had a name, but does she
We're
have a
gonna
name?
call her Omega 1.
I'm calling her Margaret. I don't know if I like missed it or if it wasn't on there, but yeah, she's randomly selected to enter a cryopod with like cryopod with no training, and she ends up crashing and becoming injured, and then it's like she's being surrounded by enemies and she's trying to figure out what do I do, and I really liked that suspense aspect of it. And it
Yes.
wasn't like, oh, I'm so helpless, help me, oh no, somebody save me. She was gonna figure it out, and like
Yeah.
I love that. I love when women in books can figure it out.
And then like the whole tension with, because like the whatever like life forms that were on this particular planet
Hmm.
were like approaching her like pod, and then they started coming towards her, and then she's just like, I need rescue now.
Yes.
And they're like, yeah, we're coming. So having like that tension of like, is she gonna make, I mean, you knew she was gonna make it, but like having that tension of like, is she gonna make it, is she not gonna make it, was really good. I like that too.
So one of the groups of the people were giants. The others seemed to be humans, spellcasters, and like other types of like warriors. But then it's like two opposing sides that are both approaching her at the same time. And so she's kind of like, ooh, that looks bad. Ooh, but that looks worse. And like, I thought that suspense was really cool because then they ended up fighting each other while she was just watching. And I thought that was actually really cool.
Yeah, I really like that. If that was like the intro to the book and then like there was like more going on into it,
Hmm.
I'd kind of be set.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And I think that this, as a full book, would be really cool. Like,
Mm-hmm.
as her maybe like going through normal life and then being randomly selected, kind of like a reaping type thing from Hunger Games, and then
Mm-hmm.
minimal training, thrown in a cryopod. I like the stress of it, but then maybe also like her maybe being rescued. Like, I don't know how you would go from there, but I did really enjoy like this.
So the next one that I have a note on, which is probably the last one, like of my top three that I'd want to see as a full story. You said his name is Valmar, right? I didn't write
Yes,
down his name.
Valmar, the
Valmar,
innkeeper. Hmm.
the innkeeper. So the way I'd want to see this as a story, though, is the whole premise of the story is that like this innkeeper, it's like a rainy night. He's, expecting not a lot of people to come into like his place, and then this wizard comes in, and I don't, you know what? You have notes on the wizard. You talk about the wizard.
Okay. A wizard visits the end, knowing Valmar's name, but they've never met. The wizard wants to buy all of the barrels of ale, knowing he doesn't even like it, because the wizard was like, "Oh, give me your ale." And so he serves him ale, right? Valmar serves him ale, and he's like, But that's great. Let me buy all of it. You know, the wizard then pays $5,000,
Mm-hmm.
and then he sells it back for like 100. So the wizard buys Valmar's entire stock for like 5 grand, and then get comfortable, please. And then he sells it all back for $100, essentially giving this man $4,900.
Mm-hmm.
And then it never really explained why
Yes, it did. That's why I
it
liked it and why I wanted it as a
did.
big story.
Okay, why? That my last note was about how he bought it for 5K and then sold it for
So
100.
the reason why he did that is because the wizard was having issues somewhere. Like he was, like I don't know if he was in a fight with somebody or got attacked by something. But whatever happened to him, the innkeeper's son rescued him. And then when he tried to compensate him
Oh.
for helping him, he was just like, "Oh no, I'm not taking your money." So he went and found his father and said, "Well, your son wouldn't take this reward for saving my life, so I'm giving it to you."
Oh, that's so sweet.
So I want to hear what happened about like a whole in detail story of how the son saved him.
Yeah, and then this could be like the ending,
Or this could
like
be
of
like
how
the
it's like
beginning
wrapped
of
up.
it. Like this is the beginning of it, and then he's just like, "Oh, well, let me tell you," and then it goes into this whole
Oh,
thing.
that would be so cool.
I would love that.
And like every once in a while it breaks the fourth, like, no, I don't know if it'd be the fourth wall, but being like the innkeeper's like, "Do you have a point?" And the wizard's like, "I'm getting there, hold on."
Yeah.
Like that would be so fun because I honestly really like the banter of the wizard and the innkeeper. So I feel like as a full, as much as I hate the term, fleshed out story would be really cool and
Yes.
funny between them two. So I really think that would be awesome. I did like that one as well.
So like my next notes aren't like anything in particular about like an in-depth of like what the whole short story is.
Hmm.
Just little notes about a short story that I didn't write the short story name for. Just characters.
What was the short story?
I don't know, but there was a character in this one. I think it had something to do with pirates.
I don't remember that at all. So that's
Maybe.
I don't like pirates. So that could be
Maybe.
it.
I got piratey vibes, I think. But there was a character named Lissa, and
Oh,
I was just like, that sounds like my name. And then
yeah.
the guy went to go find her, and she was murdered. And I was like, oh, I'm dead.
I'm dead. I
And
love
then,
when we're in the books.
yeah, and then he uh goes and tells someone like, oh, she got murdered, and then she got revived by some random guy. And so I'm like, I lived.
I lived. I survived.
I thought that was kind of funny.
I don't remember that one. I guess I don't
That
know
was the
you.
one where I wrote cannibalism as a
Oh, trigger warning.
trigger. I don't know if like he actually ended up eating people, but he was served humans as his meal. And he freaked out about the fact that like he recognized the arm of one of his like friends from like his
Oh,
crewmate or whatever.
I remember that one. I remember that one. Yeah.
So it was that same story, I'm pretty sure. But ooh, that made me uncomfortable.
Yeah. That made me like
Yeah.
that made my stomach hurt a little bit at that point. Uh, see, Wobby and the Dragon is my next story that I wrote down. I have two notes about it. I don't know how to say the dragon's name. It's spelled Mannavegr. Manavgar, maybe Manavgar. I don't know. The dragon comes upon a man child, which I thought that was really cute. How in the dragon's mind it was like, ooh, a man child, because it reminded me of the Lion Book. I think it's the Jungle Book.
Oh,
You know, the man cub.
yeah.
Like I don't know why it reminded me of that. So I was picturing that kid the entire time in the story.
You see, with that story, I kind of got Taryn vibes from him.
Yes, I did too. Oh my
So I was
gosh.
kind of just like, if you don't know, Taryn
Fourth
is the
wing.
dragon from Fourth Wing.
Mhm.
So his personality in the story kind of made me think of him.
The man child was hunting in the woods, and then he was like, "Whoa, a dragon!" And then obviously the kid's talking, but the dragon's like, "I don't know what you're saying." And I thought that was really cute. How it was talking about how that like animated the man child was, and like kind of like the sounds he was making and stuff. And the dragon's just like, "Bro, I have no idea what you're saying." I thought that was really cute. But then the man child, was killing rabbits and stuff, and then brought them to the dragon to eat. And then the child, Wabi, accidentally fell asleep next to the dragon. Then the next morning, his parents showed up ready to kill the dragon because the dragon's a dragon, you know. And I thought that was actually really cute. I really wish that that was a little bit longer so I could kind of see like their relationship develop more because I think this happened over the span of like 2 or 3 days. But it seemed really cute, especially because it was written by the like dragon's POV. And
Hmm.
so the dragon was disgusted with this kid, but also like curious. So I really
Yeah.
liked that one. I think that one was probably my favorite.
Honestly, I didn't write any notes about that one, but that would probably be another book that I would be like, if you wrote a book about it, I'd probably read it.
Mm-hmm. I like that one. That was very cute.
I have a note about a story. I don't know which story it is though, but I remember I was listening to it on Alexa and the all I kept hearing, like it was every other word was the word Pemempunda. I don't know what it was. Like I don't think I was like full on paying attention when I was reading it,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like every other word and I was like unless this is like a chant, I and I don't think it was. I think it was a creature.
Maybe. I don't remember that one at all.
I think it was a creature or something, but it was said so many times that I'm like this is too
It's
much.
too much, especially listening like technically audio.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
lot and it kind of just made my head dizzy. I had this word stuck in my head for a while
Oh my
after that.
gosh.
But yeah, that's just a note. Like I'm pretty sure it was a creature. Too many times, you know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. See, I recently just finished listening to an audiobook.
Dear
I
Debbie.
think no, and I'm still on that one. It's the haunting one that I read. How to Sell a Haunted House, and it's basically this haunted puppet, and the puppet's got its own language, and then every time the narrator was speaking as the puppet, she would use a super high pitch whine voice, which I mean that's probably what I would make a puppet that's supposed to be a kid do, but at the same time, it would be like so sharp and sudden it hurt my ears and it was I mean it's a really good book. I was very enthralled with it, but I did not like the voice at all that the narrator chose to use for the puppet. She stepped away from her computer and I don't know how long she's going to be gone. So let's talk about our day. I got ice cream and I bought all these books from the library. $3 for all of these. They're going to be blind dates, so come catch them at Dothan. I like her chair. Um, I'm drinking tea. Do you like my cup? I've never been to Atlanta. That's not true. I flew into Atlanta, but I got this at an estate auction. I got a whole box of 26 coffee cups because three of them were Starbucks for $4 for the whole box. And I got rid of the other 23 cups. Yeah, I did my math right. Lane, I like that name. Lane is in his 5th year at college studying magic, which normally takes two, but he still can't perform magic. And I'm not going to take too long because you don't have any notes about this one. But I did like that this was about this guy who was like, oh my gosh, I can't do it right, but I love it. I'm going to keep trying. So I thought that was really cool. And then the fact that he basically became a teacher because he couldn't do it, but like he had been through these classes twice as long as everyone else, so he knew all of it already. And so he was basically teaching younger people what he already knew. And plus, I think he was pretty funny. I think I made a note of his banter. I did not, but I did like his banter. I thought it was very funny. But I like that one. I love sorcery stuff, but also because this guy's like, I'm gonna be a sorcerer. I can't do it, but I'm gonna keep trying. And I thought that was really funny, like sad but fun. Yeah, so he had a scholarship, but it expired during his 3rd year. But the academy allowed him to stay if he was good and got good grades and stood in to teach when he was needed. Then later he was offered a job at the academy. Same thing he was doing pretty much, but less money. And I thought that was really nice. And I would kind of wish that that was a little bit like longer of a story, just to kind of see like what happened during those 5 years and like how it went when he became a teacher at this academy. But I did like that. That was very cute. It did kind of remind me of Zodiac Academy a little bit,
But
but
probably less bullying.
a lot less like no bullying. Zodiac Academy, I hated it. Nothing but bullying and sexualizing women. Didn't like it. This one, I like this one.
Is that all you have on that one?
That's it. That's all I wrote. The whole
Okay.
book.
So I got two more notes, more like one and a half. So one of
Okay.
my notes, there was a character named Abria who
Mm-hmm.
was described as Stormborn, and that made me think of Violet.
Oh yeah.
Or was her name like Arya or something from The Last Storm? It started with an A. I knew that much.
I can tell you right now, actually. Yes, Aura.
Okay,
ARA.
I was close. Ara. It reminded me of her too because she is also of Stormborn, kind of, sorta, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's been a minute since I read that one, so I had to think about it.
I know. I still have not bought the fourth book to finish that collection. I need it.
Me too.
I'm hoping she has it this year.
And then my last note is there was a story, and this guy was just like, "Oh, her ankle, scandalous." It made me laugh.
I feel like I say that a lot.
I say that a lot about myself. Like I once went to work wearing like capris, and I took a picture of my ankles, and I was just like, "How
Ooh,
scandalous of me."
how saucy. But yeah, that is all that I wrote. Would you like to do? Oh, I shut my book, but I need the buzzwords.
Yeah, sure,
I
buzzwords.
lost it. Okay.
Do you want me to start?
You can start if you want to. Do it.
Okay.
You should start.
Okay.
Just
So I wasn't a huge fan of like, I mean, clearly in a way, because I don't have a lot of notes on a lot of them, but there was a lot of stories in there that I just really wasn't vibing with too well. And for that, like, it didn't make me enjoy the book as a whole. But there were some really good ones that I liked in there.
mhm.
And like I said, it's Omega 1, The Innkeeper, and then Alphen were probably my top favorites in
Yes.
that order, one, two, three. And that's why I'm giving the book as a whole a 3 out of 5 because there's just I didn't like it all, but I liked there were some really good ones in there.
I think my buzzwords are fantasy, well written, and adventure. My top three, I'm gonna have to say in this order: Omega One, ones that were my top that I also would love to see a book out of. Omega
Yeah, that's
One,
what I mean.
Wally, and Valmar. Like I love those. I think those are my top three. Top three. Top three. Yeah, I think I would definitely love to see those three. So, Mr. Matthew Thompson, if you ever decide to actually do a novel out of these or things similar to these, he did say that he was working on a novel, didn't he? Or he had a
It's
novel.
been like 3 weeks since we talked to him, so I'm not sure. He might be though.
Yeah. When slash if you have or do, let us know because I would love to go more in depth in these three stories and then your three stories. I'm pretty sure they were the same, weren't they? No, mine was a little different. I had
You had
Wally,
Wowie, I had
Balmor, and Omega One.
Alphen.
Alfred. Okay. So yeah, those four stories, if you ever did decide to do like novels on those, I would absolutely love to read them
Mhm.
and review them on here. So let us know, Girly Pop, if you decide to do that.
October 10th
October
is
10th. I don't know
the
why I can't remember
Foothills
that.
Book Fest.
October 10th. Get ready to hear the slogan mystery, history, and smut. Oh my. I don't know who come up with that, but like that thing has instilled itself into my brain.
It has to be Willow.
It 100% has to be Willow. But it's funny, Taylor. I'm like, I have her, I'm pretty sure it's Taylor. I have her on my Facebook and I only know her as her author name. Like if you say her name, I'm like, who? But then you say her author name and I'm like, oh.
I don't know
I
how
don't
she
know
wants to
why.
be addressed in general. I've been meaning to ask her that once we like, because we're doing an episode with her
Eventually. We've been talking about that for like a year now.
over a year.
Over a year at
Because
least.
like she was like, you guys should do something about this, and then like we've been trying to plan it for like a year.
Yes.
but it's special.
It's special. We're getting there. Okay, but yeah, so the Summerton/Foothills Book Fest. It was in Summerton. Now it's been moved to to Jasper. It is Foothills, October 10th. It's a Saturday from 10 to 3.
Yes.
Rain or shine, indoor plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
There's
the best thing ever.
But if you do go, they are stressing about one thing. When you first go into the building, it's a community center. You go into the building, and then there's this big giant main room with a stage where most of the authors are. But across this little hallway, there's also another area with more vendors and authors, and they struggled with trying to direct people to also go into the smaller room because that room did not get enough traffic, they feel. So if you wouldn't, like, if you're going because you're listening to us, okay, also make sure you visit the whole building everywhere just to make sure you're not missing anything, because there are a lot of really cool authors and vendors that will be there.
Yep.
Us included. And we hope to see you there. It'd be so fun. If you would like to email us, our email is at biblioaudiopod@gmail.com. If you are a author, or if you would like to send in a suggestion for us to put on our spin wheel when we get done with the Dothan authors, we'd like to spin a little wheel to decide our next book to keep it fair. I heard a noise. That way we're not just throwing random stuff up in here sometimes.
Social media wise, we are on Instagram and we are on TikTok. More so TikTok now than Instagram. Mm-hmm. You can find us at Biblio Audio Pod on either one of those.
Yes.
And that's that.
That's that. Thank you for listening to this episode. And if you're using Spotify, you're also using your eyeballs. We are in our pajamas because I texted her and I'm like, hey, I already took off my makeup and I changed my clothes. And she was like, that's fine. So here we are. Hope you were in your jammies too. So we're all together.
Just seeing the Count's eyes.
I know, it's all I've seen the whole episode is like just his eyebrows and his eyes.
Yeah. This shirt looks a lot darker on camera than it actually is. This is like really nice purple color, but it looks blue.
Yeah.
But this is the Count.
Yeah, the Count. Okay. Well, thank you for listening or watching this episode of Bibliophiles Audiophiles, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.